In the last 50 years, this has broken down dangerously here in this country. The child is no longer taught the importance of regulating its own attitudes. It is no longer given the power and the ability to make decision or to adjust to the decisions of others graciously. When the child, as in the case of the American home, becomes an escape mechanism for the parental attitudes, the child is deprived of most of the strength necessary for its own life. I was talking to someone the other day who simply could not get into their minds or couldn't understand why it wasn't a virtue to make life easy for their children. This person had grown up in limited means and had finally attained considerable freedom. The person was fairly strong himself. He had a pretty decent character, and he did not realize it, but the reason for his strength was struggle. He was now engaged in trying to protect his children from the very struggle that had made him a man. He was trying to save them hard knocks. He was bringing them up in the attitude that anything they wanted, they should have. This attitude is, of course, on the level of perpetual adolescence. And the children, not having been disciplined, not having ever helped around the family, having no regular assignments of duties or responsibilities, escaped more and more into their own activities until, if for some reason any discipline was imposed upon them, they were rebellious and hurt. When this individual, the child, grows up and goes into the world only to react in the same way, that to do anything we do not want to do is impossible, that there is no reason why we should not have anything we can get our hands on, that other people who have more are simply criminals. As we gradually develop this kind of attitude, we are all set to suffer, because life isn't going to operate this way. There is no one in a worse situation than a spoiled child starting out on the path of maturity. One of the reasons why we still depend heavily upon the older generation in times of emergency is because the older generation was disciplined and has brought into maturity and even into older years a degree of courage that we do not have, a degree of resourcefulness that we have never trained, and a series of strong convictions about right and wrong, which can be of the greatest value if they are not overdone. Thus we have come into our present generation with a good many weaknesses within our own natures, weaknesses that we have not been taught to correct, which have permitted us to take very negative attitude toward life. The spoiled child will hate a parent who suddenly becomes strict. A spoiled adult will hate a world which does not conform to his expectations and find in him all the virtues that he believes he has. And out of this spoilage system, for that is what it actually amounts to, we will also have generations of unadjusted persons who will form themselves into various groups of unpleasant political nature, dangerous attitudes, who will not want to face any limitation of means or earning power, to whom life must be a continual unfoldment of extravagance. These kind of folks simply help to make a world unhappy, where enough of them develop and they become definitely antisocial. A country under such conditions may fall into a dangerous sociological pattern. And many individuals who really belong in this group have led their countries into communism or something of that nature, and lost all their rights and all their privileges as the result.